In spite of our autumnal dominance, Gilmore was actually a very small show.
Meaning we had no money.
Nothing.
For years, the relationship between Alexis Bledel and Lauren Graham stayed under the radar, leaving fans to wonder if there was more to their bond than met the eye. Many believed there had to be a hidden reality behind their on-screen closeness.
I have such a good relationship with Alexis, and we've worked together so long that we kind of just click back in no matter. It's like seeing a friend from college or something.
Now, at 44, Alexis has shocked everyone by saying, "It was actually a very small show," a remark that has surprised people. Could this simple statement hint at something deeper about her time with Lauren and the truth fans have been waiting for? Let's find out. How Alexis and Lauren first met. When Gilmore Girls was first coming together, the casting of its two lead characters was a defining moment. Alexis Bledel was just 18 when she was chosen to play Rory Gilmore. At that time, she was new to acting and had very little professional experience. She had grown up in Houston, Texas, speaking Spanish at home, and only learned English when she started school. Before landing the role, she had done some modeling work and appeared in a few local productions, but television was something entirely different. The role of Rory would be her first major acting job, and she was stepping into it without the long background in Hollywood that many young actresses already had. Lauren Graham, on the other hand, was in a very different stage of her life. Born in Honolulu and raised in Virginia, she had studied English literature before going on to earn a master's degree in acting. Graham had spent years working in theater, commercials, and television guest spots before Gilmore Girls. By the time she was cast as Lorelai, she was in her early 30s and already carried the confidence of someone who knew the industry well. She had faced rejections, tried her hand at different projects, and built a reputation as a reliable actress with both talent and timing. When these two very different backgrounds came together, the bond that formed was surprising, even to them. Their very first meeting was not on set, but in the lobby of a hotel in Toronto. Both women had arrived there before a planned dinner with Amy Sherman Palladino and Daniel Palladino, the creators of the show. It was an unplanned, casual introduction that set the tone for their relationship. Alexis Bledel later said she was dazzled by Lauren Graham. She explained that Graham struck her as a true professional, someone poised and confident, while she herself was still new and learning. The admiration was immediate. For a teenager about to carry a major television role, meeting a seasoned actress who exuded assurance must have felt both reassuring and inspiring. Lauren Graham also remembered that moment with fondness. She believed Bledel was the perfect choice for Rory, pointing out that they looked enough alike to be convincing as mother and daughter. More importantly, she said she liked her right away. Graham saw potential in the young actress who would become her on-screen daughter, and she expressed confidence in the match from the very beginning. That first impression was crucial. The chemistry between Lorelai and Rory would become the heart of the series, and the relationship between Graham and Bledel needed to feel genuine. In those early hours before dinner, without cameras or scripts, something clicked between them. They laughed, they connected, and a sense of trust began to form. The meeting in Toronto marked the quiet start of a bond that fans would later come to treasure on screen. It showed how two people from very different worlds could come together to create something lasting. But just because they got along early on does not mean everything stayed smooth. What happened after filming began would raise some unexpected questions. These were the questions about their closeness, which then led to rumors, some subtle, some louder. You would be surprised to know what did the rumors say. Rumors and speculation. As the years went on, Alexis Bledel and Lauren Graham found themselves at the center of many questions and rumors about their relationship. Alexis often spoke in interviews about how new she was to acting when Gilmore Girls began. She admitted that she leaned on Lauren in those early days, looking up to her as a mentor. Lauren had more experience, and Alexis respected the way she carried herself on set. This openness about the mentor-like role fed into the idea that their bond was unique and special. Lauren herself described their dynamic in a slightly different way. She once said that their working relationship was more like friends than mother and daughter in real life. While the show presented them as a parent and child navigating everyday struggles, behind the scenes it was two actresses building trust while working long hours together. Her words suggested that their connection was warm and genuine, though not quite as all-consuming as their characters' bond on screen. Fans, however, always wanted to know more. Over the years, both women were frequently asked if they were close off-set. At times, their answers were filled with warmth, pointing to a special bond and mutual respect. At other times, they admitted that the demands of filming and the rhythm of their lives made it difficult to stay constantly in touch. This balance of closeness and distance left space for speculation, and fans often filled that gap with their own stories. The rumors did not stop at questions of friendship. Some articles and fan discussions wondered if Alexis and Lauren were more than co-stars. While the vast majority of evidence pointed only to a professional and friendly relationship, whispers of tension or hidden truths continued. These talks grew louder around the time of the revival Gilmore Girls. A year in the life. Some suggested there had been disagreements or strain during production. Yet no credible source has ever confirmed that serious conflict existed between them. Part of what fueled the rumors was the difference in their personalities. Alexis is famously private. She has always kept her personal life away from the public eye and rarely gives interviews. Lauren, by contrast, has written books, given candid interviews, and often embraced the spotlight. For some observers, this contrast created the idea of distance, as though the two women had grown apart simply because they lived their lives differently. So with rumors swirling, what has been said recently, especially around their reunion and the documentary, that gives clues about what really might be going on. Reunions, anniversaries, and the documentary. The 2025 Emmy Awards gave fans a moment they had been waiting for. At the 77th Primetime Emmys, Alexis Bledel and Lauren Graham appeared together on stage to present an award. It was the first time in years that the two women had shared the spotlight, and the reunion immediately captured attention. For many viewers, it felt like a return to the warmth of Gilmore Girls, a reminder of how much their on-screen relationship had meant to audiences over the years. As they stepped onto the stage, they slipped into the witty rhythm that had once defined Lorelai and Rory. Lauren Graham joked that Gilmore Girls apparently took the season of fall hostage, a playful remark about how the series had become permanently tied to the feel of autumn. Alexis Bledel followed with her own reflection, saying that despite the show's enduring legacy, it was actually a very small show. Words reminded fans that behind the nostalgic glow, the production had been modest and often faced challenges. Together, their remarks mixed humor with honesty, offering a glimpse of how they remembered those years. Their appearance was more than just a tribute. It came at a time when Gilmore Girls was marking its 25th anniversary. To celebrate, a new documentary titled Drink Coffee, Talk Fast was being prepared. The documentary was set to bring together many of the cast members to look back at the cultural impact of the series. Fans were eager to hear behind-the-scenes stories, see old friendships revisited, and learn how the show had shaped the lives of those involved. Yet the documentary also brought a surprising development. Lauren Graham confirmed that she would not be participating. Her reason was not personal conflict, but loyalty to the show's original creators, Amy Sherman Palladino and Daniel Palladino. Since they were not involved in the project, Graham felt she could not take part. This decision drew attention and sparked discussion. Some fans respected her stance, admiring her dedication to the people who had built the show. Others were disappointed, wondering if her absence would leave a gap in the story the documentary hoped to tell. Alexis Bledel's position on the documentary was less visible, as she tends to remain private about her professional choices. Still, the fact that she joined Graham on stage at the Emmys suggested there was no open tension between them. Their reunion showed mutual respect and affection, even if they approached their careers in different ways. For fans, the Emmys and the documentary announcement highlighted both the closeness and the distance in the Gilmore Girls' legacy. On one hand, the public reunion stirred warmth and nostalgia. On the other, Graham's absence from the documentary showed that not every chapter of the story will be told together. The balance between shared memories and separate choices reflects the reality of their lives after the show. With all that said, what do Alexis and Lauren really think of each other now? Has anything been finally admitted beyond nostalgia and surface-level comments? Let's tell you what they've publicly expressed about each other. Lauren Graham has often been the more outspoken of the two. She has not hidden the fact that she misses working closely with Alexis. When the two reunited on stage, she described the moment as meaningful, showing that the bond created on Gilmore Girls has not faded even after the cameras stopped rolling. For Lauren, those years spent playing Lorelai Gilmore shaped not just her career, but also her friendships, and Alexis was at the center of that experience. During the revival period in 2016, Lauren gave an interview in which she reflected on returning to the role of Lorelai. She said, "I relished it, and I'm ruined for life because there's no more perfect fit, I feel like, for me than that writing and that show. I'm so glad I got to do it again. I just can't even explain it. It was everything I wanted it to be, and more." Her words captured the sense of joy she felt stepping back into the fast-talking world of Stars Hollow. She also spoke warmly of Alexis, pointing out how much respect she had for her both as an actor and as a person. At the time, Alexis had become a mother, and Lauren remarked, "I have so much respect for her as an actor and a person and a mom." Lauren explained that their off-screen dynamic was never like mother and daughter, but instead more like friends. She even joked about their ages, noting that she was closer in age to Alexis than she was to the children who played her kids on Parenthood. This honesty revealed how their relationship worked outside the show. It was not about filling roles, but about connecting as peers while navigating long shooting days and intense scripts. Lauren also admired Alexis's ability to remain private while handling the pressures of fame and family life. She said she was proud of how Alexis managed her personal life and respected the fact that she did not invite the public into it. For Graham, who has always been more open in interviews and through her writing, this difference did not cause distance, but rather gave her admiration for Alexis's choices. She noted that when they reconnected during the revival, both were in more settled places in life, which made the experience even more rewarding. Beyond Alexis, Lauren also shared how important it was for her that Melissa McCarthy returned for the revival. She admitted that without Melissa's presence, the reunion would not have felt complete. She described how chaotic the process was, even saying that she did not know for certain if she would return herself until just days before filming began. The sense of excitement was something she felt strongly, describing the revival as one of the most wonderful and intense experiences of her career. Lauren explained why the writing of Gilmore Girls had always been such a perfect fit for her. She called herself a verbal actor who thrived on long speeches and witty exchanges, comparing the style to old Hollywood classics like His Girl Friday. For her, Gilmore Girls was not only a career-defining role, but also a rare chance to work with material that matched her strengths. She said of the revival, "To return to this, I was ready." In contrast, Alexis Bledel has remained far quieter. She has given fewer interviews and has not spoken in detail about Lauren's decisions or her own feelings about the reunion. Her private nature has left space for speculation, but what is clear is that she has never publicly voiced any negative sentiment about Lauren. No major interview has shown Alexis admitting to any kind of devastating truth about her co-star. Instead, her silence has kept the focus on her work and family life, leaving Lauren to be the one who gives more insight into their shared past. Let's tell you about some more hidden clues from behind-the-scenes accounts and past interviews. Hidden clues from behind the scenes and past interviews. Behind-the-scenes stories and interviews have offered glimpses into how Alexis Bledel and Lauren Graham related to each other once the cameras were off. Some of the most telling moments have come from Lauren herself. She shared that in certain scenes, she would guide Alexis through small technical steps, like helping her find her spot on set. She admitted that she sometimes grabbed her, leading her arm to make sure the movement looked right for the camera. It was a simple gesture, but it showed the natural role Lauren often played in steadying Alexis whenever the work became challenging. Lauren also wrote in her book, Talking as Fast as I Can, about the early days of filming and how Alexis was navigating everything for the first time. She referred to these insights as secrets, but they were really reflections of how the cast came together and how Alexis was learning while working. What stood out was not conflict, but rather the way Lauren recalled those days with humor and affection, pointing to a supportive atmosphere rather than one full of tension. One of the earliest moments that stood out was the pilot episode, where Lorelai and Rory sat in Luke's diner discussing coffee, school, and boys. This scene established their quick banter, and both actresses had to match each other's pace without missing a beat. Lauren's experience with fast dialogue was evident, and Alexis, though new to television, quickly found her rhythm. Together, they created the mother-daughter energy that became the heart of the show. Many memorable scenes unfolded at the Gilmore home. The kitchen table became a central place where the two would rehearse and film hours of witty exchanges. Whether Rory was preparing for Chilton or Lorelai was juggling work stress, these kitchen conversations showed their natural back and forth, which felt as much like real conversation as it did scripted lines. Fans often noted how believable the relationship was, and that came from the time and trust the actresses built while filming together. Another major set was Friday night dinners at Emily and Richard Gilmore's house. In these scenes, Lauren and Alexis had to balance humor and tension as Lorelai and Rory faced the expectations of their wealthy family. The two actresses worked side by side to make these dinners feel both uncomfortable and endearing. Alexis often played the quieter observer, while Lauren carried Lorelai's sharp remarks, but the connection between them gave the scenes weight. The Yale years provided a different kind of filming dynamic. Rory's dorm room and the campus became new backdrops for mother-daughter talks. One memorable scene was when Lorelai helped Rory move into her dorm. The mix of excitement and nerves in that moment reflected both Rory's growth and Lorelai's bittersweet pride. On set, Alexis and Lauren played those emotions with subtlety, showing how their characters' bond shifted as Rory became more independent. Throughout the years, from the diner to the Dragonfly Inn, from Chilton to Yale, Alexis Bledel and Lauren Graham filmed hundreds of scenes that required closeness, timing, and trust. Behind the cameras, Lauren sometimes guided Alexis through technical steps, but in front of them, what audiences saw was a seamless portrayal of one of television's most beloved duos. Given all that, we can now separate reality from rumors. What we actually know versus myths, and what remains unsaid. There has never been any proof of a secret relationship between Lauren Graham and Alexis Bledel. Lauren has often praised Alexis for her talent and admired her for the way she protects her personal life. Alexis, though more private, has spoken warmly about working alongside Lauren and described the ease of stepping back into their scenes together, even after years apart. Their relationship has always been professional, supportive, and rooted in the shared experience of creating Gilmore Girls. As for what comes next, their paths continue to reflect their individual personalities. Lauren remains active in television and writing, balancing acting opportunities with her career as an author. She has expressed openness to revisiting Gilmore Girls in some form, suggesting ideas like a holiday special, though nothing has been confirmed. Alexis has chosen a quieter route, taking on selective acting projects while keeping her personal life away from the spotlight. Whether she returns to a major series or prefers smaller, carefully chosen roles remains to be seen. Together, they may not share every project, but the respect between them has endured. Future reunions, whether on stage, at anniversaries, or in special events, will likely continue to remind fans that their on-screen magic came from a genuine and steady friendship. For now, their story is not about hidden truths or scandals, but about two women who built a lasting legacy and are moving forward on their own terms. What are your thoughts on their bond and future projects? Share in the comments below.